Dear Diary, so today I will be doing a review on Ralph Lauren Tender Romance. So if you look at this delicate sample card, it is quite impressive because it's really delicate, really small and but quite long. Now, okay, so here is the writing. It's a fresh oriental, a delicate caress of pure white magnolia and silky soft cashmere. Well, on me it's not really a fresh oriental. On me it's nothing fresh. It's very sugary. It is gourmand oriental on me. Well, now let's talk about the scent. In the top note, what is listed on Fragrantica is the Zesty Bergamot, the zingy ginger, and also the sweet, fruity pear. And that is the top note. But on my skin, I don't really get a bunch of zestiness from the bergamot. It's not really fresh. On me, when I first spritzed it for a few seconds, I was confused because I got this almost brown sugary scent, like brown sugar, like crystallized brown sugar, almost caramel. I was thrown off my feet for a few seconds. I thought I wanted to sniff further, and I buried my nose deeper into my skin to sniff it. And immediately, the over-the-top sweetness, the high-pitched sweetness immediately made me suffer from an instant headache. I felt like my head was spinning when I sniffed this right off my wrist. I have to stop myself from sniffing it that close and only sniff it or only spray very light and sniff it in the sillage. Yes. Well, what I do get after the first few seconds of this caramelized sugary scent, all I get is a very high pitch, a very over-the-top sweetness by some kind of sugary pear. Yes, the pear here is not a natural sweet pear scent to my nose. It's actually very sugary. It's over-the-top sugary, like I've said so many times. And I don't really get that ginger. I was looking forward for that zingy ginger, to make things a little bit spicy, to add some twists into the fragrance, but no, I couldn't get that ginger. I am a big fan of ginger and I couldn't get that. So as it dries down to the middle stage, the middle stage listed are magnolia, white tiger lily, and also jasmine. Yes, jasmine. Well, to my nose, jasmine is not here. No. And white tiger lily is actually not something like a realistic note to my nose. And what I get is a tiny bit of this magnolia. And as it dries down further, I think the magnolia starts to take forward, move forward and shines itself in this composition. The magnolia here is quite creamy. I think that contributes to the creaminess of this whole fragrance. It's creamy, but it's sweet. It is almost like 70% sugary, peary sweet, and 30% florally creamy. And the magnolia is supposed to have a waxy lemony scent to it, but all I got, actually the lemony aspect of this magnolia is really not that prominent. The magnolia is quite muted down of the lemony florally aspect, and it just contributes to the creaminess texture of this fragrance and making the star of the show the sweet pear. So as this fragrance further dries down, now I'm wearing it. This is not the first time that I'm wearing this. I've tested it yesterday and the day before, and now it's the third time that I'm wearing it, and it has already been the third hour mark on my skin. I think it gets more elegant as it dries down as compared to the first few minutes. It gives me a headache. as it dries down, it is much more bearable. Although the sweetness is still there, I'm not saying that it gets less sweet. The sweetness is still there. It's just that the magnolia adds, round off the sharp edges of the sweetness of the pear just now in the beginning. And as it dries down, I'm trying to get some more of that woody scent. I am trying to sniff some woodiness, but really there's not much of a woodiness, Cashmerean woodiness. There's not much muskiness in here too. I checked. I thought that Cashmerean wood is supposed to be woody and musky. And it's quite buttery as it dries down to the 3rd hour mark. It's quite buttery. It has that buttery element to this whole fragrance. And I think after the 3rd hour mark, the projection starts to become quieter. It sticks closer to the skin now, and it's quite enjoyable now, to be honest. It's much more enjoyable and much more tolerable than the first few minutes, because the first minutes are just too sweet. It almost reminded me of the Viva la Juicy Glacier or Glaze. I think that also has a very prominent pear note and pear chebe, and also some sugary note. And to be honest, the first few minutes, the beginning and the middle stage of this fragrance, Tender Romance, is very much similar to the Viva la Juicy Glaze. If a person enjoys that one, the Viva la Juicy Glaze, I think that person would be impressed by Tender Romance also. But Tender Romance tend to be more, more, I think, much more conservative in a sense, much more reserved, because the throw of the sweetness and the sugary here is comparatively lesser to the Viva la Juicy Glaze. Well, I have something to add. I just realized that as this dries down, it's not musky or woody, but the benzoin note, yes, the benzoin note. Benzoin is something like a resin. It is supposed to be sugary vanilla, almost like some crystallized sugar scent. And yes, I think the sweet pear note is gone by now. By the 3rd hour mark, it's long gone, although during the half an hour mark I could still sniff it, and it dries down to a very sensual sugary benzoin scent. This is a more sugary, more sweeter side of the benzoin, although it lacks a depth of like something like a depth of the amber. But the benzoin, although it's sweet, it's very creamy. Yes, it's creamy. I think the magnolia finally it's working. I mean, the creaminess, the lemoniness. The lemoniness is really not that much, but the creaminess is here, definitely from the magnolia, and it's mixed together with this very sensual, tiny, sugary, sweet, not too balmy, not too thick, but it's there, benzoin. Yeah, the benzoin. I would have mistaken it for a vanilla, because it's just very sweet. It's sweeter than a normal benzoin that I smell in other fragrances. But yeah, the dry down here is much more mature. It is much more mature than the Viva la Juicy Glaze one as it dries down. So I think the benzoin note at this stage is the one that I really, really enjoy. Yes, it has this almost childlike innocence character to the benzoin. It's quite surprising. Alright, so here I would finally end my video here. Okay, if you're peeping to this diary, do let me know by subscribing and comment down below if you have tried this fragrance before. I'm looking forward to hear from you. See you in another perfume diary entry. Bye bye.